you guys. How are you all? Sorry about that. Right when I was starting, I had pulled a window up on the screen I couldn't get rid of, so I just restarted everything. Thank you guys for being here. Let's see who else here. I'm out of breath because I was trying to get the light organized and then get this little light organized, which is broken and it's not acting right. Hey, Walnut Amber. Hey, Carol Claus. Hey, Deb and PA. Kaylee, hello. Hey, Cool Gamer. Pointer Lover. Hey, Okie Crime News. Good to see you. Let's see. Hey, Carol Clark. K Braze. Thank you guys for being here. K Braze. Hey, Iowa Dog Squad Mom. We do have a lot to talk about. Hey, Unique Trauma. Oh, well. You're in for a fun one today. We have a couple updates, but then I want to get into some discussion around Idaho 4. I want to talk about some of the rumors. I want to jump into some comment sections like over on Twitter. I want to play some old videos, and yeah, we're going to talk about a lot. So thank you guys for being here. I can't quite get that looking the way I want. Let me see something. Okay, turn it down a little bit. I don't know. I need to adjust it. I'm going to turn it off anyways because we're going to watch some stuff. But I know, Pointer Lover, I'm like, hey, Jamie, Texas Chick. Hey, Charlie B. Hey, Shauna. Good to see you. Hey, Patricia. Okay, you guys. Whoa. So, yeah, I am active today. Unique Trauma. Let's see. Oh, I love you back, Mind of Monsters, and I'm so glad you found me too. I really am. You guys you're awesome. I love you guys. Okay, so I think we're going to start with just a couple quick updates. First, I want to talk about Madeline Pantoja. Remember her? We talked about her. She was missing. Her ex-boyfriend was arrested. She was on the Pascal show. Well, let me see if I can pull it up. There have been just a couple little updates. He has a bond hearing tomorrow, but they're protesting. And her mom made a post I wanted to show you guys. So let me start with that. After we talk about Madeline and Adam Montgomery for a couple minutes, then we're going to get into the Idaho stuff, which is messy and probably going to take a bit to get through. So I'll start with these two cases. So Madeline's mom, Lupe, says, to who it may concern, I dare to write this amidst our grief of having our daughter taken away from us, and I feel so betrayed to hear that the culprit in my daughter's death is being helped to reduce his bail so he can go free. I ask any family father to put a hand on their heart and give your opinion what you think if this was your case. This time it was Madeline, and later on it can be any other young girl who meets the wrong person on her way, and this one thinks she has the right to decide for someone's life. This is why I fail to understand why justice works this way. To all of us who are parents, is this fair? Set free someone who will later do the same damage to another? As we pray for the eternal rest of our daughter, the guilty will walk free without remorse. I really don't get it. To the authorities responsible for this case, I ask you, would it be that if it was the case of one of your daughters? Would they act differently? No woman, no person has to go through this. My daughter went through, and so many young people have gone through, and their cases don't solve them correctly. I think this was translated. Then it says, sorry, I don't understand what kind of law we have in Midland, Texas. To all the people who have joined our pain, we thank you very much. So let me show you guys the protest. We'll just go to this article. Man accused in the death of Madeline Pantoja asks for bond reduction, sparks protest. Hey, No Nation. Hey, headphones. Hey, you guys. Hey, James Gype, Crazy Mama. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, thank you, Melissa. Hey, Tony. It is heartbreaking. And by the way, thank you to Jamie. Thank you for sending me this stuff. I did not even know this was going on. You guys know I took in an extra little one. So I have a little 7-year-old with me who's not usually with me. Things have really been shaken up here, and I totally would have missed some of this. So thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that so much. Yep, he has some gall, Patricia. Hey, Mystic. And hey, Crazy Mama, if I didn't say hi. Hey, Tiff. Logged in, working my part-time, but I'm here. No Bed of Roses, Music City Mom. Hey, Shauna. All kinds of good people just came in. Hey, Melinda. Hey, you guys. Hey, Lynn. Here. Hey, Tess. Let's see. I'm going to drop Lynn's little thing. And then Melissa, if you guys aren't subscribed, she just sent her chat over here. She has a great channel. Amber, who helped me before the show, and she has an awesome documentary. It's on my community page from earlier today. If you haven't seen it yet on the Idaho case, you definitely want to check it out. Okay. And then there was something else I was going to share, but did somebody else? I don't know. Okay. We'll get back to that. So I just want to be able to run through these so we can, because we got it. I want to watch some things with Idaho that are going to take a little bit of time. Midland, Texas. According to family and friends of slain Midland woman, 20-year-old Madeline Pantoja, the man accused in connection with her death has asked the court for a reduction in bond. 24-year-old Mario Chacon Jr. has been charged with murder. He's been in custody in the Midland County Detention Center, and he was being held on a $3 million bond for now. Remember, they made a mistake and posted it as like a $300 million bond at first. The family says they were informed by the DA's office that Chacon would be in court Thursday asking for a lower bond. The family asked for people in the community to join them this morning outside the courthouse to protest that request. And then talks about the plea that she wrote, and then here's some people out there protesting. So, yeah. Jamie. So I was thinking for some reason that his hearing was tomorrow, but it was today. I'm curious, have you seen any outcome of that yet? Okay. Now, hey, juror. Hey, MK. Man, I've missed you around. Hey, Miss Melissa. Oh, Carol Claus, thank you. Thank you so much. That's really sweet. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Dragonfly. Hey, Charnel, Baby D. Yorkie, Glowbug. I think I said hi to you, Yorkie, but just in case I didn't. Hello again. Hey, Princess Megan Elsa. He doesn't need any reduction in bond. He needs to be 6 feet under. Rich. Okay. So next, Adam Montgomery's trial started today, the weapons trial. And let me show you just a quick thing about that.
Prior to using BetterHelp, I don't think I would have considered.
With 2 counts apiece of being an armed career criminal, receiving stolen property, and theft by unauthorized taking.
The evidence shows that the defendant took these guns, had these guns, the shotgun and the rifle, when he had been told.
One of the witnesses against Montgomery will be his estranged wife, Kayla. Agati told the jury that she will testify she saw the guns in their house, but Kayla has pled guilty to perjury.
Kayla Montgomery had a reason why she lied. She made a bad choice.
Oh, God, don't get me started on Kayla. Kayla had a reason why she lied, and it wasn't Adam threatening her. Now, this trial is just, it's just the beginning of a big, long, he's going to be in court for a long time this summer because he goes to trial for Harmony's murder in August. So I just wanted to pay attention to this one mainly to watch the testimony of like Kayla or, other people that are going to testify, the inmate that is set to testify who's also in prison for killing her kids. I didn't know that child killers hung out together, but apparently they do. Hey, baseball mom. So, Jamie, this one, I think you were in here that night when we went through everything, but actually after that, I spent like an hour going through and getting photos of Harmony. I think I'm going to try to put together, especially since I have this new computer, I want to do a pre-recorded video with like the timeline and breakdown and everything up until now. This way you guys don't have to sit through a live to get, the story of what happened. So let me play. I'm going to finish this and then we'll get into Idaho, which there were some new documents released today. as far as I could tell, there wasn't anything major in those, and that's not really what I want to focus on. We will touch on, now I'm going to pull up Twitter and show some things, and I want to show you guys some comments. I want, comments in response to my tweets, comments about the investigation, then some other things too. So let me go ahead and finish this, and then we'll get right into that. Because there's not a lot so far. It's just I want to keep track of this trial as we go.
The legal one. She chose to help the defendant by not telling the truth when she was under oath.
The prosecution also played some Facebook messages, which they say will prove Adam was shopping the weapons, even as he eventually sold the weapons to someone else.
You're going to hear how Kevin LaBelle bought that shotgun from this man's hands in exchange for drugs and cash.
The guns, one of which was shown to the jury, were owned by Chris Frayne, and the defense claims that his wife, Kim, let the guns be taken to satisfy a craving for drugs.
To satisfy a craving for drugs. Thank you, Carol Claus. Thank you. I was about to say thank you, Carol effing Claus, but I'm like, yeah, I'll try to tone it down a bit today. But I saw Melissa's comment before I saw your thing, because it was, closer in the chat to where I was at looking. Thank you, Carol Claus. Very sweet. Okay.
The guns ended up being the means that she used to get more drugs. They were not stolen from the Franz residence. They were taken with Kim's knowledge. They were taken with Kim's permission. And they were taken by Ishmael Garcia.
Now, the first two witnesses in this trial were the gun owner and his now ex-wife, Kim, who just heard referenced there. She is currently undergoing cross-examination. We'll have more on what they had to say, beginning with News 9 at 4. This trial is expected to take between 5 to 7 days.
Wow, so not very long at all. Check him out, though, walking in. I tried to get a picture of him for my thumbnail in his outfit today, and I couldn't get, I kept getting them in motion, and they weren't clear enough. But
It's a piece to being an armed career criminal, receiving.
I mean, this man literally had an attempted murder charge before he got Harmony. There is no absolute reason in hell that he ever should have had that baby. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to shut up about this one, because I have a real issue with CPS and the whole system and the way it's set up. Hey, Nika. Hey, Ava. So, okay. Now, I know most of you guys in here have followed the Idaho case. And if you haven't seen lately, actually since the beginning, it's been a complete shit show as far as the media coverage, the rumors, all of this stuff, and it is detrimental to the case. It actually does do damage. It's really tough because it's hard to understand how people can come to the conclusions that they do. And, I've been kind of going back and forth with some people on Twitter today about it. But I'm not happy. I don't understand why people have to falsify shit, make stuff more. This is bad enough. We have 4 young kids who were murdered, at college, but before they graduate, about to go start their lives. The story is bad enough. It was so gruesome. There was blood coming from the house, leaking out through the walls. It was horrific. There's absolutely no reason to make it even more crazy and even more juicy, or however you want to say it, than it already is. I don't understand why people do this shit. And let me tell you guys, we're going to talk about some of it. We're going to go through some of the claims. I want to show you some of the tweets and stuff, but just listen to me. When you are getting information from someone, I watch all kinds of people. I watch people I agree with, people I don't agree with, all the stuff. You need to have a good idea of this person's history, especially if, and I'm talking about multiple people now, not just one, multiple, especially though if they have a history of putting out misinformation, if they have a history of getting things wrong, if they have a history, that is important, because unfortunately, a lot of people come into these chats and maybe they haven't been into true crime very long. Maybe they stumbled across the Chris Watts documentary on YouTube and wanted to know more. Maybe they saw like a little bit of the Idaho 4 case on the news and wanted to know more. So they come here, they don't have a good understanding of how things work. They don't and they get super emotionally invested, which is great, and people come into truth. It's all great. It can be a really good thing and really powerful and positive for the cases and the victims. But when they are more naive, it causes a lot of issues because they believe everything that they say, that they hear. And they maybe don't know, hey, a probable cause affidavit isn't going to have all the information that we want. A probable cause affidavit is going to have very little. Even the pre-trial hearing, very little. They don't show all their cards immediately. And you have to wait and see. Wait for the facts. Stop twisting shit together. Stop taking the words of Joe Schmo or whoever the hell off the street. And then, it's one thing to believe something, but it takes it further when you go out and you attack people based on these beliefs. And I don't know, I'm sick of it. So we're going to go through some of this stuff together. We're going to talk about it. And yeah, that's it. All right, let me see. Got to scroll back a little bit. Hey, Angie. Hey, Danny B. This case is making some others just as crazy as the case. Give it all you have, Allie. Yeah, I get a little frustrated. I'm sick of it sometimes. I love YouTube, but there are times I come on here and I'm just like, are you serious? Especially in the true crime community. I mean, hell, just look at Summer Wells' case. Look what YouTube has done to that. Look at it. All it is just a missing little girl who's cute as hell, little blue-eyed blonde baby who people use to grift off of. And that's the truth. But everybody's too focused on the parents and what they're doing and all the drama around it. I'm just, So anyways. Aw, thank you, crazy mama. Thank you. Hope you're doing well, Aries. Not just murdered, they were slaughtered. Yes. Wait till you guys see the Twitter. And then we're going to go back because now there are a lot of rumors going around that, even now we've implicated a victim's father who's a victim, and you're seeing it spread across the internet through platform to platform to platform. He is a victim. Damn it. I mean, come on. Summer Wells' parents, even though they look sketchy and there's things about them that I think I'm even wrong for my coverage on that case. I really do, because I've learned that things they're not always as they appear, and you need to be hold back a little bit before making some sort of judgment call. But regardless, we don't know. Summer's parents are also victims at this point in time, and I'm tired of seeing like the victims being attacked. Anyways. Oh, thank you, Mystic. Oh, yeah, Tess, I know. Like you said, the audios and, oh, hey, Mrs. O. I'm so happy to have, so that you guys can see my face. And, yeah. Okay. Uh-oh. What the heck? Every comment disappeared. Okay, there we go. Oh, good, Nika. I would like to go on camera because I feel like you guys can connect with us a little more, a little differently. Oh, happy birthday, Rich. That's awesome. Happy birthday. I'm glad you're spending it with us. Hey, Mau Mau. Oh, you guys are the best. Okay, so I'm definitely missing a lot of comments, but and I hate to do that, but I'm going to skip forward just a little bit because I'm kind of behind. Oh, thank you, Lou. Thank you so much. Yeah, the victim's father. Who is a victim? I don't understand. Like, I'm sick of it. That's why I don't watch anything about Summer. Yeah. Oh, Dawn Bells coming to this channel tonight, this channel tonight, this channel tonight. The same shit over and over and over again. And, everybody gets caught up in the drama of that. It's just frustrating. Oh my God, juror. Yes. The TikTok lady, who's accused the teacher. And now apparently is countersuing, which is just funny, but and strange, but whatever. Oh, thank you, Carol Claus. You gifted another membership. Thank you. Hey, Annie. Good to see you. This is the most disingenuous concept of true crime. Y'all got to hear this nasty defamation. But of course, Kaylee is the only squeaky clean one. Everyone else, drug trafficking. It's so hard when I see misinformation and nobody will listen. I know exactly what you mean. I know, Tiff. I know. It just gets, it's frustrating. So we're going to talk about it. It is what it is, but we're going to talk about it. I want to go back in time a little bit. But first, let me go ahead and pull up the first thing I want to show you guys. I thought was kind of interesting because we're going to get into the Twitter and Steve Gonsalves. I'm going to go back to some of his first statements about what he said. But first, I found this channel and I really like
Community of support.
her videos. Her name's Andrea Burkhart. Have any of you guys heard of her? She's an attorney who makes videos on, actually sent this to Amber earlier, that makes videos on different cases and stuff.
In Moscow, Idaho.
Sometimes other things. But she went to the hearing and she answered a few things that I thought were quite interesting. And to hear it from an attorney, things that we've been talking about. Once she got in the courtroom, her assessment of Brian and Ann's working relationship, which is pretty interesting. How many people were there, the judge mispronouncing the name, the fact that Kaylee's sister got upset. So let's go through a couple of these things. I'm going to start here.
The very last people to make it into the main courtroom. Everybody else who couldn't fit into the main courtroom got sent into a secondary courtroom for overflow, where they just basically had the live feed playing into that room, and they watched it on a screen. A part of the reason for that is because one entire side of the courtroom was set aside for the victims' families, and so there was quite a large presence of family and presumably friends and supporters, people who knew and cared about these victims and thought it was important to be there. So their presence is prioritized, and that is certainly,
it should be. And she kind of says that, that's appropriate, but it should be prioritized. And I just imagine it being a lot of people probably wanting to go.
Appropriate, but it meant that for our side of the courtroom, there was room for, maybe 100 or so people. If I were going to guess, I'd say there's maybe a total of 300 or so that were there for the hearing. So we were in the very, very back, most obstructed view, couldn't hardly see anything at all. In fact, the lady.
So then she shows this little courtroom sketch, which is kind of interesting, but I did grab that for us. But I want to skip to this part for a second. I just want you guys to hear a couple things that she said. This was really interesting to me, though.
But I did see something that I thought was remarkable, which was that the moment that Brian Kohberger walked into the courtroom, his eyes immediately went to Ann Taylor. Just boom, that's who he looked for. And so that does tell me something. It tells me that they have a very good relationship. He trusts her. He is where she's looking for his security, his reassurance.
Now, she's a criminal defense attorney. So like I said, hearing it from her, we can all talk about our opinions and stuff. I just thought I wanted you guys to hear it too, in case you hadn't subscribed. And let me get her link so that y'all can, if you want to. Copy video URL. Okay. And yes, okay, so there was a ton of people there. Oh, thank you, Punksy. Thank you so much. And not only that, somebody put in the chat, and that's true. She says that she was asked to leave so that, to give up her seat. But she said no, but she agreed to scoot down, and it ended up being local media. And she's like, had I known that, I'd probably have been a little, I probably would have worked with them a little more, or whatever she said. But
coming into this, it's not necessarily that strange of an environment, but it's a it's a high pressure situation.
Okay,
all the
now
kids-
here's what she says about the mispronunciation, where the judge couldn't get the names right.
Judge, our first feel of him in the courtroom. He had a nice, fresh cut, looked sharp. A lot of the commentary that I saw in response to the arraignment, focused on the difficulty he had saying the victim's name.
Oh yeah, Tiff, it does make sense. It's actually, I think it's a good thing. We want him to have a decent defense, and it's just interesting, but I think it's a good thing. Oh, great mods there. I've been here for years. They're good. You do need a shirt with Carol freaking Claus on it.
Okay. And that was definitely unfortunate. I felt for him. I could feel how uncomfortable he was. And, I did see after the fact, which some folks did report as well, that one of the victim's family members, I believe somebody identified her as Kaylee Gonsalves' sister, was upset about the fact that the names had not been pronounced correctly. She thought that it was disrespectful, and I can certainly understand why she would feel that way.
Yeah, me too. But interesting, that they've been fighting for Kaylee, Maddie, and all the kids since the beginning. I actually had never watched Chronicles of Olivia's video. And Amber and I were chatting about, when Steve and the family were notified and stuff like that. And she's like, you need to watch it. So I went over and I was flipping through, and, even just scrolling through and watching little parts, you can feel the passion this family had for justice. They we're going to watch a few minutes of that. But they were determined to get the answers, I want him to have a good defense so I don't feel bad when he's sitting on death row. I want him to have a good defense so that if he's found guilty, it will stick. Hey, Candy Cane. Andrea is such a good source. She's also an appellate attorney, so she really knows what's up. Ooh, Walnut Amber. Good info. Thank you. Exactly, K-Bray. So there's no questions. Hey, Nora's grandma. Oh, thank you, Adrian. Hey, Anne. Good to see you. Okay.
But for me, watching it from the outside, it looked like a situation where, I'm not going to say like, oh, he's got a learning disability or reading disability.
She basically thinks he was having trouble with turning what he was reading in front of him into words. Now I'm going to skip to this part where she comments more impressions of Brian and Ann. We're just skipping through. And then the link that I'm linking is this actual video. But she's got several on this case.
Attention. Contrary to some reports that I had read, it did not look at all to me like Brian Koberger has lost a bunch of weight in jail. He looks pretty much exactly like he did at his first appearance. He is simply a tall, thin guy. Didn't seem particularly nervous as well, seemed very well prepared. Another read that I got on the dynamic between him and Ann Taylor was how they went through the colloquy from the judge, where the judge reads the information, advises him of the nature of the charges, the maximum penalties for them, make sure that he understands, and then transition into asking him for the plea. And so that appeared to me like they both understood in advance clearly what was going to happen. They were on the same page. They had a plan and they executed it. Brian was, clear and
well prepared. And you know what? It does matter, because with Evelyn Boswell, I remember it with her case, her mom and the attorneys couldn't get on the same page. They'd show up to hearings. We couldn't prepare for this, and that is total opposite of what we're seeing here. Ann Taylor comes from Kootenai County, but she, is highly qualified death penalty attorney, and there was none available in Latah County.
A lot of conversation I've seen this dispute. I don't really have a big It doesn't seem anything particularly extraordinary. And it's one of those things that it can sometimes be hard to tell what is just customary for a particular courtroom, for a particular attorney. People kind of have their ways and their preferences of doing things that, aren't necessarily right or wrong or whatever, but it's just how they.
Now, I've seen other people say that as well about Ann Taylor, that this is most likely something that she does with all of her clients, or most of them, or any of the ones that are facing charges like this. Let me see. She says that she definitely believes that they're talking about a plea bargain. Now I'm going to skip to this part just for a minute, and then, yeah.
And of course,
Uh-oh.
we saw that Bryan Kohberger did not waive his right to a speedy trial. He requested a trial date within the current limit. The limit was going to expire approximately November 22nd. So they set the trial date for October the 2nd. Now, this is what I personally expected, particularly after having waived the speedy preliminary hearing, only to have the state convene the grand jury during that time and then, eliminate the need for having it in the first place. I'm not going to say that was like a strategic misstep or anything like that, but it is just something, that they're going to keep in mind, that the prosecutor, if they can improve their position, because you need more time to proceed, then they're certainly going to do that. So I see this as really Bryan kind of preserving his options to.
She also says he may have been trying to give the family a little grace, not say I'm not guilty. I don't know that I see him doing that. Okay, so I don't know what this is. It says Bryan Kohberger never before heard interview from Sleuthy. Let's click on it and see what this is.
I was blindsided. This is out of character for Bryan.
West
These
Virginia lunch
allegations.
lady.
Nothing that surprising that he would possibly be stalking other individuals. Also, it's not surprising that he would have been condescending or treat women differently than men based on what we know.
Was he? I mean, if this hadn't happened, would you ever have thought he was weird?
Exactly. That's what I'm seeing is the people that are saying that.
With Chris. Chris was on my panel, you guys. Do you remember that? Oh, wow, J Lord. Chris came up on my panel. That's quite interesting. We'll listen to this for a moment, but I got lots for us to look at. So,
fact, didn't really know him, and they're just saying it because they don't want to sound like they're, for him. I'm just being honest. He wasn't a bad dude in high school. He was a straight A student. He gained popularity. He lost a lot of weight. It was complete opposite from what you think, and that's what should be told. But they're not going to say that.
Wow,
so
interesting. That's basically what he said on my panel. Also, guess what else? I forgot, but I did upload the video for us to look at together. What's the channel? What's the Obsession? They did a lot with the Watts case. Uploaded this today and said that, let's just watch it, the first part of it, because it's right in the beginning. Because I didn't watch, I just listened. Apparently the families have filed their lawsuits. This was right before I went live. I saw this. So let's just.
This is Kelly from Watts the Obsession. Families of Madison Bogan and Kelly Gonsalves filed tort claims with the following government entities: the Idaho Police, the State of Idaho, City of Moscow, and also the University of Idaho and Washington State University.
Tort claims. Is that their notice that they can sue if they want to? I need to double check that because I don't know, but I know that we knew that. Let me see. You guys let me know about that. Or did they actually file the lawsuit?
According to the court documents, these claims were filed on May 3rd and May 11th, 2023. The claim filed by the Gonsalves family.
How do you guys feel about that? Do you think that the school, the town, Washington State University, do you think that they could have prevented this at all? Oh, okay, Tess. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, Connor. Because, you know, I just don't understand. I don't know how they would win anything with that, because how could they have prevented it? When they arrested BK, I didn't know if I believed he did this. I still want to watch the trial. Just hard for me to believe he did this. I mean, he is strange, but kill 4 people? Interesting. I do too, K-Brace. Good channel. I wonder if this is the family's way of stopping them tearing down the house. And it was granted. I highly disagree with this and find it tacky. Oh, interesting, J-Lord. Adrian says no. And then no, not WSU's fault. That's kind of what I think, you know. That is really quite interesting, but I don't know. Okay, so now let me show you guys before we get any further into the Steve stuff, because I want to talk about his statements and also what they meant. Let's actually go back and listen to them together and stuff like that, and kind of make some sense of this whole theory that he was basically, I don't know, you know, that he knows more and has not been honest or whatever. You know, I don't know how to say that. You guys know what I mean. But first, so these are some of the tweets that I've seen, and I responded to this. And I've, like I said, I've been chatting over on Twitter with people quite a lot today about this. So Sleuthy says, not Sleuthy Goosey, a different Sleuthy. Another view of the piece of where PCA insinuates Brian turned to get on highway. WSU building. No cameras here? Didn't think to check? I mean, how would it? I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how they would know. Hold on a second. I meant to pull up the Twitter. I did. Or just go through mine. I mean, how would you know if they checked? We don't know. The point is, the probable cause affidavit doesn't put out all the information. It just doesn't. You know, they only put out a little bit. Ooh, Mind of Monsters. I see you over on Twitter. Here's one. This is just comical to me. This person responded to me and basically said, the jurors are corrupt. You know, this person's pointing out a mistake in the probable cause affidavit, and I'm sure there are some, you know, as far as which road connects to which road and that. Mamadou, they can't prove it, but American justice system is corrupt. The jurors are corrupt. In their minds, he's already guilty. I'm like, who are the jurors? I don't even know who the jurors are. How do you know? Ooh, I hear sirens. I never hear sirens here. BK was never in the house when the killings happened. He was the cleaner. But yeah, I don't know. See, it's hard for me to get to some kind of theory like that, because from the grand jury, maybe angels, I guess so. But it's, yeah, because we just don't have the information. And they're already like, think about it. They had a whole hearing over the media coverage of this case. No wonder we're not getting to see anything. You know, maybe the grand jury. This person, Vaughn, was kind of like agreeing with me, saying, okay, this person said, the most compelling piece of evidence is the touch DNA found on the sheath. That's the only solid evidence that has been released that puts Brian at the scene. What's interesting to me about it is it's the only DNA they found at the scene of the crime. And I said, we don't know what they found. I mean, you know, so it's just little things like that I find really interesting. I guess when a case blows up so much, it gets the attention of not just people who are usually into true crime, but then again, you know, the name is Deep Dive Investigates. I don't know. And I have no issue with it. I like people who disagree, but it's hard for me to understand how we get to some of these theories, and it sucks because it hurts the case, but it also hurts our like ability to see things transparently from the courtroom. Vaughn says it wasn't. People just want Kohberger to be not guilty, but there's a reason why he's a first-time offender with no bail set. These people don't want to believe he did it, but 51 terabytes of sealed evidence doesn't lie. There is GPS evidence, a ton. Aw, Carol Claus, thank you. And congrats, Lolo. Thank you. So many people don't realize exactly what the PCA is, honestly, and it sucks. What did you say? How I know? Because Mexican Cartel. I saw a special in Telemundo, and they always have a cleaner. Riddle me this. How is University of Idaho, Moscow, and law enforcement responsible for this tragedy? Suing sets a bad precedent and should be done only when it's serious. I mean, I agree with you. I find it, I don't know. Let me quit saying interesting, because y'all know that's my favorite word, and I'll repeat it over and over. But, you know, if they hadn't done their investigation or something like that, I could see it. But look, Steve was very critical. The Gonsalves family was super critical of police in the beginning. But after they arrested him, they said, you know, we were wrong. We were listening to rumors on social media. We were wrong. Of course, we've never been in this situation before. How does a person who kills 4 people look? Good question, Niga. Yeah, Lolo, absolutely there are. And with Lori Vallow, when they were choosing her jurors, there were people who knew the case, but either said they didn't know much besides, like, you know, what you'd seen on headlines, or they said, hey, I know the details of this, some of them, but I will keep them out of my mind when I'm making my decision. Love me some Twitter. I stay on Twitter. That's funny. I like it too for true crime. Yeah, because you can find anything on there, and it's a good way to gauge what people are thinking. Like, I'm really interested in, like, comment sections. And here I went again with the damn word. I like reading the comment sections, you know, just to kind of gauge the public's opinion. I think we will be surprised what they have. I agree, Pointer Lover. I definitely agree. Hell, I was surprised what they had in the PCA. It doesn't put him at the scene. It puts that sheet at the crime scene. I believe they have a ton of evidence. I think law enforcement did a sterling job in their investigation and apprehension of BK. I believe they've got their monster. Crazy mama. I'm trying. I've literally tried to find other words to put in place of that, but they just don't fit. The fact that they charge premeditated murder leads me to believe that they're confident they have evidence to show premeditation. I don't know, Angels. I don't think so. My thing, I don't know yet. We don't know yet exactly what they'll claim in it, because they just filed the torts. However you are supposed to phrase that, you know, but we just don't know yet. But that's also what I'm curious about. Like I said, if they hadn't apprehended anyone, if they didn't even try, if they botched the investigation somehow. And that about the possible lawsuit came out after Moscow said how broke this case has made them. Oh, I didn't even think about that, Music City Mom. Yes, they do. I love Forensic Files, Lime Skittles is Forever. That was like my bedtime music. Going to sleep. Ooh, Tiff, really? I totally disagree. But that's interesting that you think that. Oh, fuck, there I went again. Yeah. All right, well. Intrigued. Oh, Midwest Meemaw, I know. What would you say, Lillian? I only hit up Twitter when a celebrity dies or there's a disaster. Just being honest. All of the Gonsalves started insulting law enforcement the first day. In week 2, talking about the case going cold. They primed the pump. Well, let's look at some of the things they said. Hold on a sec. Let me see if there was anything else. Well, this is claimed to be his first sit-down interview.
How would you like to?
I don't know that to be accurate because when I was looking, I found one that was posted 2 days before. But maybe and usually what happens, the news will air something on cable, and then like a day or two later, it'll come out here. But we're gonna watch a second of this, then we're gonna go to Olivia's documentary. This is right after everything happened. It's really cool to see that. I didn't use the word. It's quite intriguing to go back, though, seriously, and see all of this after all we know now. Interesting. Reason you don't see any blood on BK or his car. He just entered the house. Dylan saw BK. Yes, he didn't kill them because he was not there to kill. Yes, he knew them. DoorDash driver delivering drugs. Like, I could see how people would wonder that stuff, but we just don't know that to be true. You know, I don't know. I've learned with other cases, like, dude, there's so many times I've sat there and thought for certain, even with Athena Brownfield, I didn't heavily cover that, but I was watching some of it. And I remember, she goes missing. Everyone starts talking about the stepmom and her attitude, showing her social media post. Everyone starts, talking about what life was like at home, what her bedroom looked like, all this stuff. There was a toy being delivered for her, a Christmas present, and the FedEx driver got her, and nobody saw that coming. Social media was already getting busy blaming stepmom, who honestly, it didn't look good, Thought-provoking, riveting, fascinating, enthralling. This has piqued my interest. You guys are the best. Who thinks the trial will begin? Yes, I'll do a poll. Absolutely, because I kind of think it might. I know, I hear legal experts all saying, no, probably going to get pushed back. And I see why, because they oftentimes do. But if he doesn't waive his right to a speedy trial, I don't think they can. Okay, I'm going to play this while I make the poll.
Idaho students. Police now sifting through hundreds of tips, thousands of pieces of evidence. Kana Whitworth has been on this story for us. Spoke with the father now of one of the victims. Kana, good morning.
Thank you, learning to draw.
Good morning.
Like
Kayla
kids,
Gonzalez's father told me they moved to this region of Idaho because it was safe. There had not been a homicide in Moscow in 7 years. And now this morning he tells me the only thing worse than losing his daughter, her best friend, and 2 others is not knowing why or who is responsible.
Okay, so here's where it gets started. J Lord, I don't, but I'll find it if you can tell me where to get it.
This morning, students on edge at the University of Idaho as the search for the killer in that brutal quadruple homicide enters its 3rd week.
It is disconcerting that there is somebody out there who's done such a horrible thing and they haven't been caught.
The school posting this notice on social media Monday, writing increased security will be on site for the remainder of the semester. Steve Gonzalez, the father of one of the victims, 21-year-old Kaylee, now shedding new light on what happened that night in his first sit-down interview.
It was fast.
And maybe sit-down interview is different than just, I don't know, maybe that's like specifically different.
And nobody suffered and nobody felt like that kind of pain.
2 other roommates survived on the ground floor, waking up several hours later.
On the ground floor, y'all hear that? Thank you again, Carol Claus. Word of the day, interesting. Thank you. And I so appreciate that. I really do. Also, you better save some for you too. Okay. Oh, thank you, Sue Ann. I appreciate that so much. This case has taught me not to jump to conclusions about people. It has to happen on or before November 22nd. If pushed back, it will only be a few weeks. 50-50. Oh, I'm about to look at it. I can't see it from this screen. Hey, Yvette. Okay. Let me see. Interesting is just the best word to use. Where's the damn poll? That's what I want to see. Okay, 51% no. Wow. Huh. Conspiracy. Yep, I see it now. Okay, I'll grab it while we're hearing this part.
When they were unresponsive.
You know the reason why the initial concern was that a roommate was passed out?
I know the girls reached out via texting and calling, so I can only assume by the phones being ignored, knowing how my daughter is not going to ignore calls and texting.
Officials maintain the murders happened between 3 and 4 a.m. and that the first 911 call was made around noon. Just hours later, Steve was informed of his daughter's death, not by police, but by family members on campus.
Call back, and then you realize he's gone too.
Madison was Kaylee's lifelong.
So there he kind of describes how he found out, and we're going to see a little bit more of that in detail. But here we go, J-Lord. You see this on my screen? Is that the one right here? Or is it this one, brother and sister speak out? There's two. He won't wave. I'm 97% confident, but I've been wrong before and will be again. Only time will tell. Law Nerd Amber, that is exactly how I feel. I don't think he will. Because he knows, like, it will pressure them, you know, for more. Only because I think the defense has something up their sleeve. Does anyone think Steve drove to Moscow that day once they started getting calls from family? Well, that's part of why I wanted to do this, because of the rumors going around about that. And we're going to hear in Olivia's interview, Chronicles of Olivia, they talk about someone driving there that day, but not Steve. Didn't the autopsy describe different slash wounds for E and X compared to M and K having stab wounds? Well, okay, that's a little confusing because we did hear from Steve that, you know, their points of interest don't match. Or isn't that what points of damage don't match? And I think he was referencing Kaylee and Maddie, like they didn't match each other. But I'm going to pull up the affidavit. Oh, shoot. I don't have it on this. I forgot I'm on a different computer. Had it saved. Let's just look at it. I think that we can do it here, maybe. New York Times. J-Lord, did you say which one? Won't start until sometime in 2024. Olivia and Christy. That's why I want you watching this first. Okay, well, there's two here with conspiracy. Christy Gonsalves, father, brother, speak out. New interview, Idaho 4.
Possible because there are different tiers.
Me, it's not real yet. I'm a bit in denial. I'm hoping for justice. That's why I'm trying to switch myself into that mode.
It's not this one, right?
Justice.
Yeah, I just know my sister, she was a hard worker, and just sitting in my bed and crying myself to sleep isn't gonna do her any justice, and that's not what she'd want me to do. She'd want me to stay active and doing what.
Okay. Kaylee Gonsalves, injuries significantly more brutal. Family interview. The points of damage that we were talking about. I've never seen the aunt speak out, so I don't know. Kaylee Gonsalves Facebook post. Family speaks out. Neighbors speak out. Is it this one here? The 18th? Let me check the date on this one.
Yeah. My name is Christy Gonsalves.
November 21st. So no, it would be before this one. Damn, J Lord, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I suck. So if you know, if the one has lives, that one also has lives, but we will skip it. Wait, no. Nope, it was November 18th. Hey, Search and Rescue K9. Yeah, Steve also did say he didn't have to go upstairs. You just had it. All right, just a second. Let me. There we go.
Yeah. My name is Christy Gonsalves. KRISTIGONCALVES.
Yeah, I'm Olivia Stevenson, ALIVEA STEVENSON. Gonsalves is my maiden name. I'm married.
My name is Tammy Butts, TAMIBUTTZ.
Good. Everybody good?
I have never seen this. Not with the aunt.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Got it right. Don't get mad.
I think we got it on the pickup. Good. Okay, so just first off, the map that just came out from police, it gives a little bit of a timeline of where they may have been that night. Does that map mesh up with the timeline that you've been putting together?
Yeah, I'd say it's very close. I'd say if you have any closer details to kind of hone in, 145 could be very vague. Maybe it's closer to, 150. Let us know if you have anything concrete, because right now concrete's what we can go off of.
In terms of the details, you said it's close.
Mm-hmm.
Does that frustrate you that it's close?
I do, but right now we're still trusting authorities that, it's not going to be 20 minutes here, 15 minutes here that's breaking this. But yeah, I implore everyone, if they know something different, bring it to the police, because if they want to tighten up that timeline, we stand with that.
It seems like there's this very big gap when it comes to Ethan and Xana. Do you know where they might have been?
I don't, unfortunately. I know nothing about them.
We have no idea where they were, but we do have a pretty tight timeline on Kaylee, and then it is close to what they are posting, but
hey KPM,
it is a difference. That difference actually could be huge. I mean, it could be, it could not be, but 145, 159. So there is, and we have corroborated with my phone records, Kaylee's phone records, the driver that was driving them around.
Yeah, so you
really
have
concrete.
You have pulled video seeing the Uber driver dropping them off.
Yes.
You've checked your phone record, know
Yes.
timestamps, what time they got home. It's not exactly what police are saying, right?
Right.
It's not 145.
Kaylee and Maddie were picked up from their home at 1122 King around 10:15. It's about a 5-minute drive down. So they arrived to Corner Club around 10:20, which is different than what was released at 10. We know that Kaylee called for an Uber at 1:45. He arrived at 1:49, got in the car around 1:50.
Wow. Okay. She's very detailed. J Lord, though, if it goes over my head, make sure to tell me and I'll go back and rewatch it.
It's about a 5-6 minute drive. They arrived home at 1:50.
Is it frustrating that you're
Lily? This is the family of Kaylee Gonsalves. This is her sister. And basically in the beginning, when the 4 students were killed, police were very quiet about what they could find. And we know now from the affidavit that they were, doing stuff behind the scenes. But as far as the public knew, they weren't. So the sister, the family went out and they hunted down video footage of the girls at a food truck. They got the cell phones and went through all their messages, went through what they were doing, basically investigating it themselves. Now there are claims that they've not been honest, or they've helped cover something up, or just different things. I've seen a few different things. And so we're going back in time to hear exactly what they said, and just discuss it all.
Is it frustrating that your timeline is based on
I'm curious.
from videos and phone records, and their timeline doesn't exactly match yours?
I just feel like there's a reason they're just at the estimate. I don't know, because they do have that information from us, and they've asked us where we have gotten that information, and we have concrete backing. She put it together.
It could be conflicting stories. We just don't know. This is the information that I stand behind.
I think that when they say 1:45, I think they're kind of referring to the whole group arriving approximately 1:45.
Is the video not playing for you guys? Because when I pull it up from my phone, it is for me.
I believe that maybe Ethan and Zamet, and I don't know, may have gotten home around that time. And then the girls, obviously 1:59-ish, is shortly after. So they're kind of thinking that the group arrived home.
It glitched there.
But they were not together. And we don't know anything about Ethan and Zamet. We do know about Kaylee and Maddie.
And some of the time stamping, that your sister was making calls, right? She was making calls as late as 2 o'clock.
Yes.
How do you know that?
So she was on my mom's cell plan. So on Sunday, I was able to pull those cell records.
And you could see that she was calling somebody out.
Yeah.
Does it seem like they may have been involved, or does it seem like
no,
not at all? Kaylee had no shame in kind of power calling. So
and we know who she was calling, and this person is, and this person was asleep, unfortunately, was not getting the calls. And it was, I don't know, a few calls for half an hour. She called him a couple times, but no, it was not. We do not believe she was calling him for help. We believe that she was just calling him to come over. If Kaylee was in imminent danger, her or Maddie, they would have called 911. They would not have been calling this person. Yeah,
and that was
so
around 2.
Yes, so at that time we
started
believe
around 2.
Yeah, we believe that the girls were just fine.
Okay, so we're getting close. We're at 5 minutes. They're talking about exactly that night.
So from those phone records, it looks like the girls may have been alive around 2:30.
2:30 is what the last call?
No, the last call is shortly before 3 a.m.
Short, yeah, that's right, 2:50 something.
2:52.
Yeah.
Wow. Gosh, you guys, I can't imagine being the family and feeling like and having to do the investigation yourself,
Right.
And still no killer, still no motive. How are you guys holding up?
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone. They obviously are, they're the same people to us, but they were different to all of us. To my mom, it was a daughter. To my aunt, they were nieces. To me, they were sisters. And we all had different, very complex and amazing relationships with both of them. So it's going to feel different.
Empty.
Yeah.
She just left on Friday. She left on Friday morning to go to a Pi Phi party, and she had just bought a Range Rover, and she contemplated all day long back and forth whether she should go home, and because she just really wanted to show it to Maddie, and some other friends and whatnot. And she's just like, Mom, I'm gonna go to the Pi Phi party, and he's got to see this for my new ride. And I'm like, for sure. It was nice. It was really nice. She just bought it that day, all her own. And I talked to the girls on she had a time on Friday night, both of the girls, and then both of the girls texted me on Saturday
We're talking
afternoon.
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon. They sent me pictures of themselves, and Kaylee called me around 2:30ish on Saturday afternoon. And then I was texting Kaylee just random on Sunday. And right about those, when I look back at my times that I was texting Kaylee, the police.
So you were trying to live on Sunday.
I just randomly talked. Just what's going on? What did I do last night? We talked a lot. And she was supposed to be home on Tuesday. She said she'd be home on Tuesday.
we were talking a little bit earlier, but whoever did this is still out there.
Yes.
Okay. J Lord, give us your thoughts. But also, is it possible that they seem, they're nervous, they're not on camera a lot, they're not used to this, and they know things that are not allowed to be known publicly at this time? So they're, you know what I mean? So the body language seems a bit off because they don't know what they can say. I'll replay it again. That doesn't sit right with me, Tiffany says. Interesting, you guys. Okay, I'm going to replay just that last minute since it's glitching for you, Nika. Then I want to go to another part where they kind of describe this.
Maddie's got to see this, my new right. And I'm like, for sure. Like, I mean, it was nice. It was really nice. She just bought it that day, all her own. And I talked to the girls on, she had a fun time on Friday night, both of the girls, and then both of the girls texted me on Saturday.
So you were talking
afternoon.
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon. They sent me pictures of themselves, and Kaylee called me around 2:30ish on Saturday afternoon. And then I was texting Kaylee just randomly on Sunday. And right about those, when I look back at my times that I was texting Kaylee, the police were swarming.
So you were trying to get a hold of her on Sunday morning.
Yeah, just random talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, hey, what's going on? What did you guys do last night?
Okay. Jack D, Kaylee's ex. Bethany saw Xana and Ethan, but nobody mentions Dylan. It isn't nervous. Let's see. What do you think about Jack, Tiff? Story drastically changed. Yes, Lynn, absolutely, I will. Let's see. Here's the actual video so you guys can watch it, and then we'll go to the next interview of this compared to Olivia's. Okay. There we go. Then that's what we'll do next. Because I just don't understand why they would have a reason to lie or anything, and also I'm highly uncomfortable with picking apart because they're victims. Now I get why people are skeptical of the Jack thing, though. I do, because they immediately, because I remember feeling like they just could automatically believe that he wasn't involved and, never even gave him a good look. They do talk about, and I hadn't seen this before until today in the interview on Olivia's, really looking into Jack, looking for bruises, all of that stuff. But yeah, okay. Okay. This is the most replayed part, YouTube says. That's kind of interesting.
Do whatever they did, sneak into a house, whatever it was. Are we going to allow that to be okay? Are we going to allow that to be okay?
Wait a minute. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I'm going to share the link. We're going to use it, under fair use. So we're going to have to pause and all that kind of stuff. I'll keep it on 1.25, actually. There we go. And then, okay.
Yeah, because we all go to bed at night.
Yeah, what was their flaw? They didn't have a nanny cam in their home? What could they have done to be more
They
safe?
locked the door perfectly.
Yeah. No, it's Moscow, Idaho. It's safe.
I wonder about the door because Kaylee was a door locker. She should come
totally
here,
was.
and so I question that all the time. Like, why wasn't the door locked? Why wasn't the door locked?
Midwest Meemaw, unless you've ever lost a child, especially murdered, please don't judge these people. For the first 2 years after I lost my son, I was in shock and couldn't tell you anything I said. And I agree with Tess. Thank you for sharing that. I think your perspective is important. Are there people here thinking that? Yes, Lily. I don't. But it is, kind of a thing that's going around right now. Dylan's whereabouts have not been confirmed for that night. Bethany was at the party with Ethan and Xana. Is that the one you told me to scroll up to? No. Let them go back. Jack D, Kaylee's ex. Doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, J Lord, but they're victims too. I mean, technically, they get a victim's impact statement and that stuff. Exactly. Dylan has no alibi. They're grieving, trying to wrap their heads around a horrible tragedy and having to do it publicly. Did she mention what time it was when police were swarming? No. She said right around the time that I was trying to get in touch with her, police were swarming. Now they're going to get into it here. And look, I respect everybody's opinion. Whatever you think, I appreciate it, because like J Lord, I want to look at things how you guys are looking at them, just to try to see where you're coming from. You know, before her mother knew that she had passed away, she sent her a few text messages. What's wrong with that? Jack is a victim by circumstances, in my opinion. He lost his love. He's left with Murphy only, and no matter what he does, he'll never be able to ask Murphy what happens. My heart feels for them, but don't bullshit me pulling on my heartstrings. You think Dylan did it? I don't. I think that I just don't right now. I don't know. I see why people are suspicious of her, and I was at a time. So I get it. But I kind of feel like if she did have something to do with it, by this point, police would know. And if you missed Melissa Jade's live, she went through the new documents that came out. I didn't find anything super particularly, like any big bombshells, but there was a part when they were talking about, was it Snapchat warrants or Reddit? There was all the social media warrants. And on one of them, one of the victims, you could see they list, Kaylee, Maddie, they list the girls. No, they didn't list Maddie, I don't think. But one of the names is redacted. And it says that it is redacted because it could put someone's life in danger. So that makes me wonder, is that Dylan or Bethany, their name that was redacted, because who else's life could be put in danger? Cray, if I lost mine, I don't think I'd be here, y'all. I really don't. Why didn't Jack answer the phone many calls from Kaylee and Maddie if they were just at the club together? I don't know. That's a good question, because I would like to know what happened that night too. People are saying Steve G is helping hide shady police. I don't think that, but just to sum it up to people who haven't heard. Thank you, Amber. Yes, and me too, Lynn. I know that we've talked about it before, but I'm always sorry for that. It isn't judgment, but facts are hard to overlook. Since November, every time I brought it up, people went berserk. People rip apart Dylan and Bethany like it's a free-for-all, and they are quiet. So did you bring this up back in November? That's interesting. Okay, I'm going to skip to the end of the chat just so that we can keep going. And then we'll talk about it some more in a minute. Okay.
But that's not what society's built on. You don't say, oh, well, you didn't lock the door, so you deserve to die in your sleep.
Yeah.
You don't do that. We have to make a society where these people show red flags, we identify them, we address them, and then we remove them from hurting others.
I find it, here I go again with, I do think it's noteworthy that he said die in your sleep. You don't deserve to die in your sleep because you didn't lock the door.
The phone call the Gonzalez family received on November 13th is one they'll never forget.
It was Sunday around
We're watching football.
1-ish, and we were
like
watching
every
football.
family, or a lot of families on Sunday.
And our son was here. Everybody was home except for she was down at her home.
We gather.
And my niece called me and she was freaking out. And she said, Christy, have you talked to Kaylee? And I said,
Okay, so the family is hanging out, watching football. The niece calls. That's where we're at. Patricia, I don't know. That's a really good point, though. But, I think a big part of it is a lot of these creators who are spinning the facts. And especially since, maybe 50% of their audience isn't used to true crime, doesn't understand that just a small percentage of the evidence is going to come out in the affidavit, a little bit more during the preliminary hearing. And then, all of it will come out during the trial. They don't get, if they were just going to give up all their evidence to us now, why would there be a gag order? Hey, Teresa. Maybe they got more info from law enforcement, and that's why the story changed. Okay. Let's go back for a second. Catch the beginning part.
Everybody was home except for she was down at her home.
We gather.
And my niece called me and she was freaking out and she said, "Christy, have you talked to Kaylee?" And I said, "Yesterday, like last night." And she said, "Something bad happened. Something bad happened." And she was just bawling. And I said, "Well, what do you mean? What do you mean?" And she said, "I think Kaylee's dead." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And she
All of our
said,
stomachs just dropped.
she said there was somebody just called me and they live down there. And she said there was a party last night and somebody went in and shot the party up and Kaylee was shot.
Somebody went and shot the party up and Kaylee was shot. Oh, learning to draw. Yeah, I didn't think about that. If Brian was at frat party and says Ethan and Xana were there, got home at same time, show us the film at trial, please. Only Christy Gonsalves knows that morning exactly. I guarantee it. Can't change like that. I don't see, I think she was talking about two different moments, though. She was talking about when she was texting Kaylee before she knew anything, right? And then now she's talking about when she first hears there's an issue. Let me keep playing.
I was like, "What?" And I just threw my phone. I started screaming. I started telling everybody to call Olivia and to get all of her roommates on the phone. And I started calling Maddie, and Maddie won't answer. I said, "No, this can't be. This can't be," because Maddie would call me. If Kaylee was shot last night at a party, Maddie or Jack would have called me. And I kept calling. I called Kaylee and I went straight to voicemail. I was calling Maddie. It's calling Jack. It was ringing. I turned on the TV and I saw it was like 11:22 King Road. Like Kaylee's car was in the driveway. Maddie's car was in the driveway. But it was saying an unconscious person.
Was that on TV that there was an unconscious person? They found out that morning. 911 wasn't called until noon. I don't think they found out that morning because they were watching football. So it seems like it was that afternoon. Hold on. I'm going to go back to it. We're going to listen again because I'm going to get this straight. Sorry, you guys. Sorry about that. That was so loud.
Men's Warehouse. Fit to
November 13th is one they'll never forget.
We were,
hey, Jolene.
Watching football.
One-ish, and we were
Like
watching
every
football.
family, or a lot of families on Sunday.
And then our son was here. Everybody was home except for she was down at her home.
We
in LA.
gather.
And my niece called me and she was freaking out and she said, "Christy, have you talked to Kaylee?" And I said, "Yesterday, like last night." And she said, "Something bad happened." And she was just bawling. And I said, "Well, what do you mean? What do you mean?" And she said, "I think Kaylee's dead."
Okay, let me pull up the transcript just for a moment. It was Sunday. We were watching football. Every family was there. Our son, a lot of family. Okay. Yeah, because what would be the first football game of the day on Sunday? Like noon? Yeah, I kind of think they were talking about two different points in time. But agree to disagree. I mean, I so appreciate anybody's input and perspective, but
And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And she
All of our
said,
stomachs just dropped.
she said there was somebody just called me and they live down there. And she said there was a party last night and somebody went in and shot the party up and Kaylee was shot. I was like, "What?" And I just threw my phone. I started screaming. I started telling everybody to call Olivia and to get all her roommates on the phone. And I started calling Maddie, and Maddie won't answer. I said, "No, this can't be. This can't be," because Maddie would have called me. If Kaylee was shot last night at a party, Maddie or Jack would have called me. And no, and I kept calling. I called Kaylee and I went,
can you imagine your kid is away at college? And look, it could be 30 minutes away, 15 minutes away, whatever. Your kid is away at college. I get it that she doesn't live there anymore, but still. And you get a call like this, and then you turn on the news and you see their house. Oh, my God. Hey, Riddler. I meant to say hey to Corey. I said hi to you, Riddler, but I read his comment. I'm sorry. 10 a.m. Sunday football in Idaho, Alex. Okay. Thank you, Michael. I have a dumb question. No question is a dumb question. Are we sure the name of the person law enforcement was holding back isn't still being protected? I think they are. I would assume it's one of the girls. It is so sad, Amber. Oh my God. It was Dylan who, let's see what you say. It was Dylan who passed out. They called the ambulance for Dylan. I heard in Spanish news Dylan has PTSD from childhood. I've heard some rumors and stuff about that as well. And remember, Steve Gonsalves said himself that someone fainted. I agree. It was a good question. She was talking about her communication Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Well, and forgot this one, but this one has the trauma with, intertwined.
Straight to voicemail. I was calling Maddie. I was calling Jack. It was ringing. I turned on the TV and I saw it said 1122 King Road. His car was in the driveway. Maddie's car was in the driveway. But it was saying an unconscious person. And I was saying, okay, maybe this isn't like maybe something happened. So Steve starts calling the police. Steven, our son, started calling the hospital, and he started calling the office, and we heard that my daughter was killed in an accident, and they can't get any information. We'll call you back. Well, we just next thing you know, someone's serving our daughter's sick. Running down, 6 points of the Kaylee's dead. And we're like, what?
So someone called their teenage daughters.
I don't know, somebody that's they're there. Kaylee's dead. Oh my God, like this can't be, it's just very dramatic.
These protocols have to be updated.
Yeah.
These protocols of somebody showing up at your door 10 hours later, it's ridiculous.
Hours of panic before sheriff
It was
department.
terrible.
It was about 4:30.
Could that be why they're suing? Because of the wait. They called hospitals and police. Something just don't add up. What do you think, Deb? What did Michael say? Boise, Idaho says NFL begins at 11 a.m. Thank you, Riddler. Why would Hunter Johnson not be suspect? Hell, I remember at one point when he was literally, he was being blamed. And then another point when it was said that his girlfriend, Emily, was sister of Brian. I mean, I would be driving there. I have driven to my daughter's house when she hasn't answered the phone. I also lost a son 15 years ago, so I can get paranoid. I'm so sorry, Jamie. Oh, I bet. Okay, so they're going to talk. Somebody did drive up there.
So you guys, they never called you. You guys found this out from family members that were in the area, and you guys didn't get notified. You actually reached out to them, and you guys still didn't get notified.
He wanted to call him twice.
I did. Their protocols are all about maybe they'll miss or something, but they have to be updated because social media moves so fast, so quick.
Now, I can totally see that makes so much sense. How once social media has kind of taken over and been such a force that it is now, it probably is hard for the regular world to keep up, with the information getting out and stuff. Think about it. Before social media, all the things that happened in the world, we were blind to. A lot of people think, America or the world has gone evil. I think it's been evil. It's just that now everybody's got a phone, so they're documenting it as it happens.
That's why we are using social media. I'm not using the most common channels.
We called Karen, and we asked Karen if she had heard anything, and she goes, yes, I was told that I need to get down to the
That was good.
We thought maybe Maddie was the unconscious person, and we had already been told by several people, like 100% Katie was dead. And we were like, she's in their ball. They're like,
Maddie was just unconscious.
And then we're like, but Karen got a call saying to come down there. We haven't got a call.
That was a good sign.
So we're like, oh.
And I kept giving them hope. I kept saying it happened last night. You guys would know by now. I kept giving them hope. I said, they just released an article that the roommates are being questioned right now. They probably took their phones, Mom. Like, I just kept giving them hope because I live in Los Angeles. It wasn't here. And that's all I could do. But it's just this feeling in your gut that
Okay, now that makes sense to me that it would take some time to identify them. Who said that? Jay Lord and then Tiff as well. So that kind of makes sense why some of the wait. But would it take that long? Until after, I don't know, maybe, but everyone knows who lives there. And apparently when police arrived, the chief has talked about all the kids crying out in the parking lot, asking who was in there, stuff like that. And then whatever kids did witness the aftermath of this, when Dylan called friends over before calling police, you know, I don't know. Let's keep listening though. This is not done. There we go.
I knew as soon as my niece, as soon as Brenda called, I knew that it was real.
Yeah.
And she was freaking out.
And then cops showed up around 4:30.
Yeah, the sheriff came around 4:30, and then he told us that there were 4 victims, and we said,
Wouldn't the cops know if they drove there though? The cops would have seen them.
one of them, Maddie Morgan, and he said,
There you go, Teresa. 4:30.
And Maddie.
We still knew she was going down there.
Yeah, Karen was still on her way. And
But wait, because I've never listened to this. We know they came at noon. Now, let me hear that again.
I knew as soon as Brenda called, I knew that it was real.
Yeah.
And she was freaking out.
And then cops showed up around 4:30.
Yeah, the sheriff came around 4:30, and then he told us that there were 4 victims, and we said, it was one of them.
Oh, okay. The cops came to their house to let them know what happened. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm dumb.
Keely and Maddie.
We still knew she was going down there.
Yeah, Karen was still on her way, and she still driving.
Nika.
And she got down there, and she got there about 20 minutes after we got the news. And
Another person who was broken by the news of Kaylee's passing is her ex-boyfriend, Jack.
Well, I was going to go ahead and skip to 41 minutes to talk about what else they talk about that happened that morning. But let's hear this for a minute because this is about Jack. Six hours earlier, they were called, makes it 10:30. But someone said Sunday football. There we go. Coeur d'Alene in Idaho, where they live, a specific time, 10 a.m. or 1:30 p.m. football. Duh, the time zone difference. That's why I'm like, wait, football doesn't start that early, but I'm on the East Coast. So that makes sense. And then, yeah, that would be around 10:30 if they were sitting there watching football. Or it could be, it could be a variety of times, but that would add up.
Decor. Not only has his life been picked apart, he's been scrutinized by social media.
You know in your heart he had nothing to do with this.
More than, even just logically. I think that a lot of people assume we're blinded by this individual, but contrary to that, we're very capable of removing our emotions for Jack, which is absolute love, and just looking at the situation logically, looking at this individual in front of us, looking at a pattern of behaviors of him that we've seen throughout 5-6 years.
Okay, I really want to get your guys' thoughts on this. At the time, I was really suspicious of Jack, especially when Crime Circus was doing those videos showing he lives right here and there's this white car parked outside of his house and X, Y, and Z, all the things, yada, yada, yada.
So emotionally, in our hearts and in our heads and in every sense of the word, it's
Basics.
not
We did a job
thorough.
vetting him.
I asked him to, did he have any scratches? Did he have any bruises? He came there immediately after it happened.
He can prove that he had none.
He came to their house immediately after it happened, and they looked to see if they had any bruises. Still makes it prior to 911 call is my point. Well, yeah. People were talking in the neighborhood, like the police chief said, I believe when he arrived or when police arrived, there was already a crowd gathering and that it continued to gather. And there was many people outside crying, asking what was going on, all that kind of stuff. But they didn't get it right. They knew an emergency happened. There was rumors, but they said that she was shot, that there was gunshots at a party.
No, I checked his shoes.
Yeah.
I checked his car. I checked his hands.
I took
I
photos.
checked his neck.
Yeah.
He came over in shorts.
Yeah.
Within hours.
And he was happy for Kaylee.
Yeah.
Whether they were, I think they were close to getting back together. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were.
The whole
Whether she was moving without him or not, he had
advocating about
nothing
getting
but love.
Nika, I remember him something about 10 hours now that you say that. I'd have to go back and listen specifically for that. I think there's 2 white Elantras in this case. News also said possible burglary gone wrong. It was all over the place.
We went and investigated Adam. Did you tell him? We went through that whole thing. Adam is about her trying to get back with Jack.
Day
Because they're
one,
roommates.
day one of this all happening, Jack was right there in the trenches with me, reaching out to people Kaylee had called. Who is this?
The first 3 nights are on our couch after we came. He could not leave us.
That's why.
Yeah, Adam. Now the whole Adam thing, I won't forget that, because when all we hear is that little clip. Well, one, that did make me be a little less shady of Hoodie Guy, but then when you hear Maddie and her tone, what did you say to Adam? Just the way that Maddie, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. What did you say to Adam? And Maddie says, I told, Kaylee sounds panicked a little bit. And when Maddie says, I told Adam everything, I don't know. I just, that was a big deal for this. So I bet you they were like, what the hell was told to Adam?
Redken's acidic bonding concentrate, lightweight liquid.
Okay. Ooh. I just think, though, you guys, the problem with all of this is, like, we can go through, and it is fun to kind of go through these old things and look at everything again, reanalyze, talk about it all. But at the end of the day, until court, we're just not going to know. There's just going to be so many questions. And even the truth of it is, after they go to trial, there's still going to be questions,
Steve, slow down. We realize you guys are ahead of us.
Michael,
realize
I remembered
that you guys have this chain of thought, and you're going where we're going. We're an organization, and we have to check it a little bit slower than you. And you're just ripping through it, and you're ready to tell everyone. It's like, slow down.
And I know it sounds weird that we asked him to show us his arms and stuff if we trusted him so much, but I mean, I think that
people. I think people would look at you negatively if that wasn't your reaction.
And I said, and I looked him in his eyes, and he was crying.
What? People would look at you Oh God, I'm not even going to comment on that.
I was crying. I said, I'm so sorry.
We hate doing this too, but we have to.
Can you broke his heart?
Yeah.
And he was just like,
No one's
yes,
sticking up for
like,
me.
lifted up
And
his
we were
shirt,
sticking up for him.
and I said, okay.
We're not
I'm so
lying.
sorry.
Nika, did they say one? Because I went back and looked in the transcript and I didn't see a time.
Good parents.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, when your child
Yeah,
makes her eyes.
And it did not make me feel good either. But I mean, I was just like,
But when people are like, how do you stick up for him blindly? We're not blind.
No.
We have
And we know that
done
kid's
our
hard.
due diligence. We
we
have
know his
looked this up.
family.
He's been around my babies when my babies were born. He would watch them for me so that I could go to the grocery store by myself.
Right.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to skip ahead a minute. And Carol Claus, yeah, maybe. That would make sense. Like either that she wanted to get back with him or didn't. One of the two. Doesn't Jack look just so different in like these photos here? And then when we see him now, I must have watched the food truck video 8 times trying to look for clues. I just suspected 5 people. I know, me too, Carol. Absolutely did. I was, we were looking at everybody. Hell, there was even that guy in the footage that looked similar to Anon, and then you have, oh God, that whole mess. Hey, Miss Z. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead to 41 minutes. We'll just go here.
As important as our daughter's justice. Our daughter's justice is so much. Like, I might not be employable for 100 years.
I'm kind of blackballed myself as well.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter, because there's so much.
Have to have justice.
It's so much bigger than us now, and we would give everything for it, every day, everything, every day for the rest of our lives for it. Because Kaylee would do it for us. Anyone, Maddie would do it for us.
All of our children would do it for us. But to know what she went through and to think that I can just pretend like I've done enough.
Yeah.
She went through absolutely a nightmare in our head.
Terror, pure terror.
So then we have to tell ourselves, if we do that kind of effort.
To know what she went through.
And I think that's the new way to figure out how
I would love
this,
to know
because we're
everything
finding out
they
there's a
know
lot of
about it,
cases that
but
are cold.
yeah, we'll find out.
There's a lot of cases that are cold. People think just shut up, and listen. Guess what? There's those parents are calling me right now and saying, don't be quiet.
Yeah.
Don't make the same mistake I made.
Don't let it die.
You need to be vocal. You need to be uncomfortable. You need to take heat.
Okay, Stacy. I'd have to grab the affidavit to tell you exactly, but I do know that it was something like his license plate that led authority, like looking into the people that at WSU and the cars at WSU, and that is where they found him. Maybe that's what you're talking about. I think one of the security guards. I don't know. Like I said, I'd have to go back to the affidavit to that part, but yes, there we go. A WSU police officer saw Brian Zalantra in a parking lot. That's how it came to their attention first. I need to look for that because they were already looking for the white car, right?
You need to take risk. You might not get
Well, I know they were, but
you might get.
It does say
you
that
could
in
get
there.
justice with that, and that's what we're willing to do.
And those are other victims' parents that have reached out to you, telling you some of their
Other
stories.
victims literally saying, "I follow the rules. I did everything to a T." Multiple times, these parents have came out and said, "My kids were cold." So I'm thinking, if it goes cold, I'm going to say I gave it my all. I did everything I could.
If it goes cold, that is so sad. This is before Brian was arrested.
And we're not trying to say we're not going to follow the rules. We're just saying you need new rules because obviously the ones that you're using aren't working in every case. So we're going to do what's right by
Family
us.
told us our baby was dead.
Yeah.
6 hours later, they tell us those rules aren't working.
Yeah.
Media goes.
Aren't working in every case. So we're going to do what's right by
Family
us.
told us our baby was dead.
Yeah.
6 hours later, they tell us those rules aren't working.
Yeah.
Media goes so fast.
Family told us our baby was dead. 6 more hours go by before they told us. Okay, I grabbed the affidavit. Let's get that down accurately about his car. Interviews the crime scene the night before, the bar, Dylan and her account of everything, the video footage that they used of him turning around and stuff. I mean, no matter how many Elantras there are on that video footage, his license plate should be visible. I would hope so. Let's see. Investigators were given access to video footage on the WSU campus located in Pullman. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra, was observed on surveillance cameras. Okay, let me see, because I think it says something else too. Yes, here. On November 25th, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for white Hyundai Elantras. On November 29th at 12:28, it's 1:30. What the hell, Alex? WSU police officer Daniel Tiango queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate, LFZ 8649. This vehicle was registered to Brian Koberger, residing at WSU, those apartments, on-campus apartments. So maybe that's where you're talking about the license plate. Hey, Dr. Mordecai Cassius Marcellus Jones. So they did pull footage. Yeah, they pulled footage from there, and that's 2 separate parts of the affidavit. But that footage they have of the white car doing the 3-point turn and all this stuff, around the house from area ring cameras. Remember, the ring camera on the house next door is gone. Another interesting point about that is that house has been blurred on Google, on Google Images or on Google Maps. Hey, Chris. Michael Miller. Something about this is wrong. It takes at least 3 years before they get cold. This narrative started in week 2. Yeah, I got to agree with you there. I went with a serial killer and either a former teacher or student from U of I. It was later I discovered that Washington University was close by. Well, remember, Xana's sister went to Washington University. And I don't know, remember how he had that? I've been thinking about that because people were saying, look at his reaction, the difference, you know, how he clenches his jaw when they say Xana's name versus how he acted when they said the other kids' names. Maybe that's the connection, something like that. I mean, I still lean towards Maddie or Kaylee, and most often Maddie, but it does make me wonder. Has anyone heard anything about the cage? No, Deb. What's that? I do 9-point turns. You sound like me. A Nashville cop was shot today and is in critical condition. The suspect just died, though. Oh, I hate when, like, just like with freaking Henrietta, you know, Jesse McFadden, the fact that he doesn't have to pay for what he's done, it just makes me angry. Here, let's keep watching this, though, just for another minute or two so we get the full context as they kind of start to wrap things up with that.
So, yeah, we're going to play with a little bit more. I'm an IT guy. I'm going to play with some more new modern rules.
Yeah. What would you say to other parents that may have something like this in the future? What would be your number one tip or piece of advice that you would share with those parents?
We almost tried to put together an organization just for this, because after we went through it, you learn how much you don't know, and we are self-motivated and highly engaged people. So we were trying to think about like what it's
God,
like
this poor family. You know, I get why people are skeptical of things, especially with all the fake news and misinformation that goes around, and especially when you might trust a particular creator or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're picking apart statements from not a suspect, from a victim's family, their family, and you know, they were probably in shock still. They'd just been through something, you know, they're going through something super traumatic. This is before Brian was even caught. Then as far as the affidavit goes and the information they've released, they are not going, they're just going to release enough, like just enough to get the arrest. They don't release everything. Like I said, after the trial, we'll still have questions. So it just feels unfair and crazy to spend just to have more videos to do on the case. Like there's a lot of stuff happening in this world that we could be talking about. So it's tough to see. And like, I don't mean to get all upset. Like in the beginning, y'all know I was pissed, but it's hard because like it matters to me and to a lot of you guys too. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know. The family was not in the city. I don't know why anyone is questioning them. Well, look, if they came back, if they drove up there that morning, would police not have seen them? They got there at noon. I asked Amber how far away they lived, and she said she thought around an hour and a half. Do you guys know for certain about that? Tess, Candy King. Shock were off a long time ago. They did nonstop medical. Let me see. Oh, the Mad Greek. No, it's been a while since I've heard any. Actually, the last I heard from him, that's another confusing part. The Mad Greek comes out and says basically this interview, because someone does an interview and says that Brian had been there and or whatever, and they come out and say, you know, that's not true. Well, then they come back later and say, we don't know if he's ever been there. We just know the person who said that didn't work here anymore. So, you know, it sucks. This was December 28th. Wow, so it was that close to him getting caught? I didn't realize it was that far in. 1 hour and a half, 80 miles. Okay. If they drove there, why did the officers show up at their door at 4:30? Yes, they were, Carol. Hey, Lisa, another interview. They were going through Brian's timeline. The sister said she knew exactly what her sister was doing at that time. She was baking cookies, waiting for a friend. Wait, what sister? Kaylee's sister said that? Thank you, Pointer Lover. Just because they spoke to media does not mean they were not still in shock over their child. I don't know. I just think from now on, we just all got to move forward and remember, we really don't know shit that they have. We don't. And God, there could be a ton more stuff. There could be nothing. Like, I'm very curious about the car. What was left in the car? Oh, you know what? I should play this before we go. Oh, no, I already had something I wanted us to watch together. There is a, you got me on the conspiracy now into one of these videos. But there is like a theory that Daily Mail put out on their YouTube channel that I thought was kind of interesting. But, I'm very curious what was in the car, what they found in his car, especially because they took everything. I mean, every square inch of that car. So, seat belts, the door panels, the floor, the things out of the floor, the pedals, everything. Now, this is what we were talking about where he talks about their injuries not matching.
Joining me now on set, the parents of Kaylee Gonzalez, Christy and Steve Gonzalez. Thank y'all so much for being with me. You guys have been so transparent.
Okay, Michael, Dad could have beaten police to the scene by 10 minutes, right? If we're going by how far away they live. But to do what? And then just leave and pretend like he didn't know yet and go home and wait to be notified? You know what I mean? I got a question that has bugged me since day one. How do you read someone's text messages from a family plan? I don't know, J-Lord. I honestly don't know about that. Yeah, because they did say that they had a family plan and in certain shared passwords, but I don't know. Hey, Lisa, by the way. Even though I just responded to your comment, I didn't say hi either. I'm curious about the IDs they found in his home. Me too. Very curious. You can log onto your cloud where it's all backed up, and Steve is in it, so he could have seen the messages. Okay.
Transparent and strong for the public. Christy, you called the person that did this the boogeyman.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
It's literally like what nightmares are made of. Like when you're a little kid and you think of the boogeyman, that's just how I feel. Like that's just.
He is the damn boogeyman. And then Riddler, as far as your question goes, I guess it depends. Like, are you arresting the person who owns the house, or are you arresting, I think that kind of depends. But yeah, because
the horrific details of everything.
If you're the person being arrested and it's your house, I feel like no, the police aren't responsible. But if somebody has to bust down your door to get a family member or something that's just visiting, maybe. What do you guys think?
Everything, them just having a good time, going home and going to bed, and that's happening to them.
Your best friend crawling into bed.
Just crawling in bed.
Every
and
girl
the
in
boogeyman
America
comes.
knows what that's
The
like.
boogeyman doesn't, meet you at McDonald's. I mean, the boogeyman comes and snatches you out of your bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Steve, we've been talking. I've been talking to folks in the community. You said something that stuck with me. You said, until this person is caught, you can't sleep in your bed.
No, I can't just lay in my bed and do nothing. That's not the way I raised my family. That's not the way I raised my girls and my son. You don't be a victim. You stand up for yourself and you do everything in your power to make sure people hear you. And they're gonna hear Kaylee. They're gonna hear Maddie.
It is interesting, the difference in how the families are, how much they're speaking, and also the fact that they all kind of don't agree on the death penalty, because they don't have long on that one. They're a little bit over a month.
They're gonna hear these.
The other two as well.
Yes. I'm careful saying anything about them because I need to be careful because I can't speak on somebody else's child. But these two girls, I'm not trying to be a glory hound, but these two girls, I'm going to do what I can do. And we're not being victims. We're going to fight. We're going to figure out how to make sure that we hold everybody
accountable, and we keep eyes and attention on this and get this thing resolved.
Steve, you have made it very clear to our audience that you are supportive of law enforcement. You support the investigation. But recently, I've been watching and talking with you, and you're getting frustrated. What does that
Well, yeah, he is. And Music City, Mom, you are innocent until proven guilty, but like that's in a court of law. I mean, even here, it's beyond obvious that people get accused of things they didn't do. But, they came out of the gate with a lot of evidence, in my opinion. I know a lot of people, I know some people disagree, but let me find the part where he says they're talking about the cops. Hold on a second, you guys. Okay.
We'll try to get that information to you. And they got back to us a day or so later, and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you that information. But then a day later, we saw in the news that it was not targeted, or they think the whole house was targeted. But
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to go up the steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up.
He doesn't have to go up the steps. That's the one where he says that. I don't know, you guys. It's mind-boggling for sure. Knowing about this potential lawsuit on the city, they filed his comments about holding everyone accountable is interesting. Does he mean in the crime or more? I think more. But I don't know what exactly, and I don't know what he'll get or what he's entitled to, because what could the University of Idaho or the city of Moscow or the WSU, what could they have done differently? Okay, let me see. No, I don't think J. Lord's related to BKU, guys. And Cray, you can talk. You guys, yeah, let's just let that go and keep going. J. Lord's been here a while, and yeah, just like that coroner. Oh, I was watching her a little bit earlier. I think I actually sent it in our little folder to watch, but I'm about to let you guys go. I'm going to rewind this just a second. I want to hear this one more time before we go.
Have told us that it was targeted, and they told us they can't tell who. We asked specifically, and they said, we'll try to get that information to you. And they got back to us a day or so later, and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you that information. But then a day later, we saw in the news that it was not targeted, or they think the whole house was targeted. But
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to go.
Wow. You think about the way he said that with such certainty. Now looking back, they don't match. He doesn't have to go up the stairs or whatever. Okay. What do you guys think about that? I still feel Maddie was the target just because Kaylee wasn't supposed to be there. I don't believe in innocent till proven guilty by a court of law, because guilty people sometimes found not guilty by the court of law, but it don't change that they did it. They just got away with it. You are related to Gacy? No kidding. What? Wow. That's kind of cool. Once again, we don't know everything. They may be held accountable in a way we don't know. Or it's just in case something comes out to cover all boxes. Yeah, because they have to file that to keep the possibility open. Steve is saying Xana and boyfriend first. They didn't have to go upstairs. I thought he was saying like there were like the upstairs is out of your way if you're trying to get in the house and kill people randomly. I think it was Kaylee. I think he found out Kaylee was going to make it there. Was going to make it there. That and it was then or never. Innocent unless proven guilty, not until there's a big difference. I think it means that the target was upstairs. If the target was on the second floor, then he wouldn't have to go up the steps. See, I took it more as like a randomly thing. Obviously, target was upstairs because they didn't have to go up there if it wasn't. Yeah, by saying that if it would have just been a random thing, he would have not had to go up. He wouldn't have went upstairs. That would have been out of the way. But it wasn't random. That's what I mean. Basically, exactly what you guys are saying. And that's okay, Lolo. I'm joking, damn it. Michael thinks he was saying the target was Xana and Etha, so they didn't have to go upstairs. I don't know. I guess we just have to wait and see. Look, if it stays on schedule, we don't have long. Like, think about how fast we got to Lori and Letitia's trial. Now that's over. I can't believe that's over. Like, Lori and Letitia, both of their somewhat with Lori, but where did Ethan work? Riddler, he worked at this Tulip Farms, but I don't remember the exact name of it, but it's a flower place. and actually they've created like a mix that they sell of in memory of him. Interesting. Yes. I think it means that the target was upstairs. The target was on the second floor. Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, I think I'm going to let you guys go. Isn't there an evidence? There's something with that has to do with the discovery and stuff. That's probably the same thing, but I don't know the schedule. All I know though is that October is not far. There's probably going to be a few status hearings and maybe it'll change a little bit, but if he doesn't waive his right to a speedy trial, we're looking at by November 22nd or whatever. Tulip Valley Farms. There you go. Thank you, Angel. How's the poll? Oh, shoot. You know what? Before we go, let me look because I forgot we even did it. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. There was little updates with the other two cases that I definitely wanted to touch on. And then this is, I'm telling you guys, one day, there are going to be laws passed. Ooh, I still have that comment pinned. There are going to be laws passed to where look at what happened in Florida because of them down there protesting. And I wouldn't be surprised, in other places that crew goes, that they're, like Georgia, what happened in where Leilani was, the protesting there, and where Quentin's case is. 55% no. Will Bryan's trial start on October 2nd? 45% yes, 55% no. Poll complete. Very thought-provoking for sure. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys. I'm hoping it stays in October because people are losing their heads. Yes, they are. Good night, Pointer Lover. Birthday is November 23rd. Aw, I love you guys. Hey, there's all kinds of different kinds of loves. You know what I mean? Steve G has been pissed at police from day one. Why wouldn't he be? Thank you, Sue Ann. I'm sandwiched in between each one of those. Oh, all right, you guys. Bye, Magenta. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you guys have a good night. And I'll talk to you soon. Angels, I appreciate a good discussion. It was very interesting.